Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Today is International Day of Braille, a day set aside to celebrate Braille as more than just dots on paper, but as a powerful tool for communication, independence, and the protection of the rights of the blind and the partially sighted persons. The theme for this year focuses on promoting inclusion, accessibility, and equal opportunities for persons with visual impairments across all sectors of the society. As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark the day, attention is drawn to the persistent challenges faced by many visually impaired Nigerians, particularly in education, employment, and access to public services. To highlight these issues, I last spoke with the Executive Director of the Center for Disability and Inclusion Africa, Mr. Yinka Olaita, on the importance of Braille and the path toward a more inclusive Nigeria. He started by giving an insight on the significance of the day.
It's a day that was created by the United Nations to celebrate the values that Braille brings to the life of an average visually impaired person. With the help of Braille, the form of communication that helps them to begin to build stronger affinity with other people. It helps them to read and write. It helps them to get to understand what goes on around them, because the gift of sight is missing for most of them. So International Braille Day is good, and it reminds us all that communication can still happen irrespective.
How can society, including schools, workplaces, and communities, do more to support the inclusion and empowerment of visually impaired Nigerians?
By trying to understand them, because if you want to relate with somebody, it takes an understanding and knowing what works for them. So the society can be more patient, the society can show more empathy, not sympathy. But in trying to do this, we are asking that they should not just sympathize with them, because that is demeaning, that is discouraging, that is not empowering. Empathize, wear their shoe. When you empathize with an average person with visual impairment, you try to think through what they go through. Being patient with them, understanding their need, be interested in them. Their visual impairment is not caused by any god or because of what they did wrong or what their parents did wrong in the past. For us as society, as school, we must be able to make provision, understand, walk in their shoe, and do whatever you can do to make sure that they are living well and they have become active within the society.
Now, from your experience working in disability inclusion, what are the most pressing barriers visually and partially sighted persons still face in Nigeria, even as we speak today?
Now, we find out that it's still a difficult thing, because most people still don't understand the issue of visual impairment, like every other kind of disability. What is unique? How do they treat? How did you engage with them? How do they fully maximize their capacity? So I think that some of the thing is, while we have the policy, the implementation of that policy is still far from what we expect. We're still not doing enough as a society and government to make sure that their potentials are fully maximized. And I see that these are some of the challenges that we have seen over the years, and I think that this is the time for us to take a new outlook, a new perspective, addressing the challenges they face in their education, even in their workplace. They can be an efficient employee if you place emphasis on their ability and not in their disability. And then all the reasonable accommodation, we still don't understand them, and it's constituting a lot. Also, in transportation, in everywhere, there are quite a lot of challenges that they are still facing. Unlike other clusters within the disability community, because of the sites, there are quite a lot of things they could not do. They may not be able to drive, they may not be able to do all that. But I think that we can make life more easy by ensuring that there's enough reasonable accommodation made at every angle.
Beyond marking International Day of Braille, just as we're doing today, what concrete actions should government agencies and stakeholders take to ensure real inclusion and accessibility?
We must go beyond awareness to action. Government must show commitment, and it flows from leadership. Leadership at home, leadership at school, leadership at workplace. A commitment to make life easier. A commitment to ensure that we appropriate visually impaired persons' potential. A commitment to ensure that they are well integrated into the society and that we are able to support them all through the processes. These are more important than just the noise of marking the day. I think that this is the high time. We're in 2026 already, and I want to appeal to government to be more committed, to show more signs. It is good to buy braille, it's good to buy white cane, but showing lip service will not do by just marking the day. And I want to say to every visually impaired person, I celebrate you pushing the limit and keep being the best.
That was the Executive Director of the Center for Disability and Inclusion Africa, Yinka Olaita, speaking on the significance of Braille and the way forward for a more inclusive Nigeria.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people